let me welcome you to today's flight from Granby-Grand County to Aspen-Pitkin County, short for Aspen. Today we are planning to do an IFR flight, and let's see how it looks like. In the morning, when I was doing the preparation, you can see the barrage of the information I got. It's quite a complete, like full package of it. And what we have is winter storm warning, low level wind shear, mountain obscuration, strong surface winds, and another storm warning from another office. So as you can see, this is not really great forecast. We have those clouds almost from the ground. We have an icing. There is a turbulence because this is a mountain flying, and combined with the strong winds, you can bet that there will be a turbulence. In addition to that, we have a low level wind shear warning, even as in a form of GRMET. And then we have obviously the winter storm. So, and temperatures as low as minus 25 degrees Celsius aloft. So that was what the morning forecast promised us. So let's just go and see what it actually looks like. First of all, I will get the current observation, and from that I can see that at our origin, Granby-Grand County, the weather is even VFR-ish. We have winds from 15 knots winds, but we have good visibility, 10 plus miles, and we have a ceiling at 4,200 feet. And we have quite a spread between the temperature and dew point. So as far as our origin goes, this is VFR weather, so nothing that strong. However, as you can see, all around us we have this pink area that says WS, which is a winter storm, and if you click it, that it's a winter storm warning for all these areas. Our destination currently looks a little bit worse. You can see we have a 3-mile visibility, and clouds are at 1,700 feet. We will see later from the approach plate that this is actually below minima for the approach I selected. So we'll see how that goes. If I check the other forecast, for example, for clouds, and I'm checking clouds even though this is a IFR flight, simply because at the temperatures that are outside, that means that in those clouds we have a very real possibility of icing bordering to certainty. As you can see, the forecast is for the clouds, for the base of the clouds to be at 10,000 feet or 11,000 feet. So pretty low. Actually, that is 1,000. Should be 1,100. No, it should be, yeah, it is 11,000 feet. Sorry for that. I was confused a little bit. So quite low clouds, considering that the minimum en route altitude for our flight is about 14,000. Let's check the temperature. And if I go to 15,000 feet, you can see that we have temperatures between minus 15 and minus 20, which is kind of which belongs to the ideal temperature for structural icing development. That will be supported by this icing thing, I think. Strange enough, the icing severity is like just trace icing in the majority of the area, and only in certain areas we have higher probability or higher severity of the icing. needless is to say, in the Microsoft Flight Simulator, which a majority of us fly, um, any kind of cloud, no matter how, they are not able to simulate exactly, obviously, the conditions inside of the cloud. So I guess that they just blankly, or like by default, if there is a cloud and if the temperature is between -20 and 0, you'll just get icing immediately. So, as we can see from the weather today, we are not really able to fly. So I thank you for watching and goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
Happy flying.
All
Okay.
right. All right. So obviously we are in the simulator. So that's just the message for if anybody wanted to try that in real life, just stay on the ground, please. This is no weather to fly into. And with that being said, I would say challenge accepted. There will be one thing needed, and that is to, if you want to conduct this flight in these conditions, you just need to disable the icing, in the simulator. Otherwise, you won't be able to finish the flight. So leave this on like a real world weather. I have never flown in a winter storm in the MSFS yet, or in this weather. I think it's gonna be quite difficult, maybe funny in the end, seeing that each of us might struggle. But I'm up for a challenge in the safe environment of desktop simulator. So let's get further. Departure is this Granby-Grand County. It sits, and there is high terrain around us. Runway 9er is not really suitable for takeoff in IFR conditions. However, we should have VFR conditions, so it might be an option. Although the weather, I believe, said that the wind is actually favoring runway 27, so that argument is a moot point. So we will use runway 27. Coming further, we have our destination, Aspen. You can see airport remarks is unusually heavy for this airport, and of course feel free to read that. We will definitely touch about that even like when we are departing from this airport under VFR, because there is some VFR departure published or maybe recommended. So I'll investigate that next time. Until next time, what is interesting or important for us here is that due to high approach minimums, pilots may need an IFR alternate, even though weather forecast is forecast to be higher than 2,000 and 3,000 feet. And terrain will not allow for normal traffic patterns. So what that says to us is that normally, one moment, yeah, that normally you need an IFR alternate if the forecast is that for 1 hour before and 1 hour after your scheduled arrival, the visibility is less than 3 statute miles and or the cloud ceiling is less than 2,000 feet. As you will see later, the minimum for a localizer approach to this airport is above 2,000 feet AGL. So even that forecast, even if it's maybe below 3,000, that would call for an alternate here. So that's what's important to mention here, but then, you are free to read this as well. Route planning itself, as I always say, the route planning for IFR is slightly different than VFR, because usually the route might not be the first thing you actually plan. First, you need to have an overview of what kind of approaches and what kind of departures you have at your disposal at the airports. So let me just move forward to that and we'll see. So departure, normally, we would obviously check the weather, as always. We need to file a flight plan, determine runway and departure procedure. And departure procedure is actually what I'm what I'm talking about here. So this is one of the IFR departure procedures. It's called the obstacle one. Obstacle departure procedure. It's not a SIT. The airport that we are departing is an untowered airport, so it cannot have a SIT because that would need to be assigned by ATC. Instead, it will have an obstacle departure procedure, and this one is graphical. The most obstacle departure procedures are only textual, but this one is graphical. And what it tells us is that we need to climb on heading 274 to 8,707 feet, then climbing left turn to 14,000 direct Busan, and thence on track 323 to cross Yankee at or above 14,000 before proceeding on course. So that would mean we would depart fly runway heading, fly runway heading, and notice it's a heading 274, it's not a course 274. So really just fly the heading. And then we would just make a gradual left turn. It's very shallow because this is like not to scale. Chart is not to scale, and you will see that maybe it requires even less of an arc. Maybe it's like more direct to Busan. And then arriving on that, you need to make a right turn. Obviously, this departure procedure requires that you have RNF capable aircraft and you have a GPS there. Notice the takeoff minimums, standard with minimum climb of 6,030 feet per nautical mile, all the way to 10,400 feet. So what does that mean? If I pull up this chart here, yeah, that's the one, and you can see it's one departure but obstacle in brackets, and it's RNF. And what did I want to do? Yeah, I'll actually come into that a little bit later. So let me continue here because I have it on a second slide. For IFR flight, we obviously need an IFR clearance. We can either depart VFR and get it in the air, or we can get it on the ground. The already discussed rule before, one in and one out. In the US, if you are at an untowered field, there is always only one aircraft cleared for IFR procedure, be that departure or approach at the same time. And that one aircraft must be like out, like after departure or after arrival, so the ATC can clear another aircraft. Radio calls, obviously we will go over them. And in real life, we would have a clearance delivery phone. If we wanted a clearance here on VATSIM, we'll just call on frequency. There is a CRAFT acronym, clearance, route, altitude, frequency, and transponder. This is the thing that you should write down on your paper when getting the clearance, so you can fill in all 5 of those information when getting the clearance. And clearance can look something like that. So you would be cleared to somewhere, usually destination airport, that would go under C. S filed, that would go under route. If they want to add anything, they would list something. So for example, via heading 274, then direct somewhere, then S filed, then you would write that into the route section. Climb and maintain altitude, that goes to altitude, obviously. Departure frequency, that goes here, and squawk goes into transponder. So it's kind of structured, and then you can easily read that back. If we don't have any controller, we'll just self-announce as we do. Now, that thing. So as you remember, we had minimum climb 630 feet per nautical mile. Notice it's not per minute. They are not able to give you climb per minute because they need to give you a geographical distance. So per each nautical mile as you climb out, you need to ascend at least 600 30 feet in order to stay legal and more importantly away from mountains. So what does that mean? How do we calculate if we are able to do that climb? Obviously, our aircraft are rated to climb per like feet per minute, not feet per nautical mile. So we have this table here that we will use in a moment, but first we need to find out what is the climb performance of our aircraft. And each aircraft will have a different chart or a different table that you can use. Uh, and for most of them, you first need to determine what is the density altitude of the field at you are sitting, because that what determines the performance of your aircraft. Now, we've touched that already before. The pressure altitude is something you also need to know. So if you are already in the aircraft on the tarmac, the pressure altitude is quite easily found, because that just means that you rotate your altimeter to 2992 and then you just read the pressure altitude. Or you can compute it. Currently, if according to the METAR, the pressure at the airfield should be 2967, and dialing 2967 will give us the airport elevation. So let's just see that. I'm going here to my altitude. Hope you can see that. And if I rotate it to 2967, above that, I'll get a reading of 8,160 feet. Looking at the charts, the altitude should be 8,207. So it's pretty close. I believe that that's the correct pressure there. So I can get the pressure altitude either by rotating it to 29902 and just reading off what my pressure altitude is. In this case, it's 8,400 feet. Or I can compute it. And how do I compute it? At this altitude, at 8,000 feet or something, you usually have a change of like 13 feet per like a hundredth of an inch of mercury. So if we have the pressure 2967, that means, and I'll just take the calculator so I don't make any mistakes unnecessarily. That means that the difference will be 92 minus 67. We have a quarter of inch of mercury difference. And if I multiply that by 13, I should get like roughly 300 feet difference in the altitude. That didn't really happen. It's not 300 here. It's maybe 200 and something. So maybe that the difference is not that high. But you can see that the figure is almost correct. And then you need to account for the density. You need to find out the density altitude. For that, density altitude is the pressure altitude corrected for non-standard temperature. So you can see the temperature is about minus 6 degrees. I believe METAR will back me up here, minus 6 degrees. So what is the standard temperature at this 8,000 elevation? At sea level, it's 15 degrees, and then it goes down 2 degrees per 1,000 feet. So that means that at this altitude, the standard standard temperature should be minus 1. This means that we have um, uh, less temperature, so denser air, and that means that the density altitude will be actually lower. And by how much lower? You can use this simple, this is like very simple formula. It's not entirely precisely correct, but for all intents and purposes for like us, this is good enough. So what we do, we just supplement the OAT, which is outside air temperature of -6. We subtract the standard temperature, which is -1. So -6 minus -1 is -5. Then we multiply that by 120, and we get around 600. Yeah, minus 600. So that means that our density altitude will not be this 8,400, but around 7,800. And that works better for us because we have denser air. Now we come here and I see that 8,000 density altitude means that my climb rate under the full gross weight will be around 700, that's 800, let's say 820 or 850 feet per minute. And at 10,000 feet, it will be around, let's say 750. So 750 to 850. And so you could see from this chart, we need to be able to maintain this climb all the way to 10,400. So that's why I'm just doing this. So kind of an average between 750 and 850 is 800 feet per minute. So per average, I should expect to be able to do that. Now, I come to this table, and I know that I am able to climb 800 feet per minute. So I need to find my feet per nautical mile figure. And I need to do 630, which means 640. I can take this one because it's the closest one higher. And that means that if my ground speed is 60 knots, I need to do 640 feet per minute. If my ground speed, however, is 90 knots, then I need to do 960 feet per minute in order to maintain the 640 feet per nautical mile. And I already calculated that I can do only 800 feet per minute. So I need to find out how fast my ground speed will be. So, and that's kind of another thing that we can calculate, for example, using the E6B computer. So what is my ground speed? I need to know my indicated airspeed. I need to know my true airspeed, and then I need to know the wind. So for climbing out, for me at this altitude, I will be climbing at 85 miles per hour because I have my airspeed indicator in miles per hour. That is around 74 or 75 knots. So 75 knots, I need to find out what is speed at this altitude. So I will use 9,000 feet. I will line up here the pressure altitude of 9,000, so around there, with the outside air temperature about -10. So 9,000 and -10. You can see I lined that up. And then I can see that in order to, if I fly at 75 knots indicated, that my true airspeed is 85 knots. That's a true airspeed. 85 knots, that's quite a lot, and it's really close to that 90, and I know that I won't be able to do that. However, we also have the wind component. And if the surface wind at this point, and I know that it's becoming quite complicated, but please bear with me. If the surface wind currently is about 12 knots, maybe 15, and then when we come higher, we can check the wind here. What is the prediction? So for example, 120 or maybe 9,000 feet. The wind is roughly 25 knots there, or should be. So let's say that it's 20 knots, or maybe 50 knots just to be safe. In that case, I will just subtract the 15 knots from my 85 and I will arrive at 770. And 70 is closer to this one than this one. And if I kind of interpolate, I can see that my 800 feet per minute should be just enough to have this climb here. So it's pretty close. I wouldn't feel safe. Those are like POH numbers, which are true if the aircraft is new or very well maintained. So we'll see. The good thing is that currently the weather at our origin is good enough for a VFR departure. So we should be able to see the terrain and avoid it if necessary. Any questions to this? Or are you completely overwhelmed by now?
Can you start over? I didn't get it. No, joking.
Good attempt. You can play it again afterwards if your question is this broad.
Okay.
Now
Got me on this, yeah.
I know you were joking. Yeah. All right. So en route and arrival. Yeah. So basically, let me skip to the approach for now. And just to identify the initial approach fix, which here is either Ajax or red table VOR. And I'll come back to the route section. And I will go here. So you can see that we have the airport here and airport there, and obviously there is an airway here that we can use with the MEA, minimum entry altitude of 14,000 feet. So this is an altitude where we already need an oxygen, supplemental oxygen in our aircraft. Luckily, it's not that important in the simulator. Just bear that in mind. And here you can see those points, Pusan and Yankee, those fixes that are part of our instrument, like obstacle departure procedure. So in reality, we would fly something like this, and then when we cross that at 14,000 feet, we can turn around, go direct VOR, and then along the way. And this red table VOR is the initial approach fix. So we'll the flight plan all the way to this one, and here you can already see the localizer and the back course that you will see momentarily. The route, quite simple. I will not file the Pusan and Yankee because that's an obstacle departure procedure. You don't file it, or you don't need to file it actually. If it's graphical, you can. If it's textual, you don't have an option. So feel free to file it if you want. I believe if I enter it like that, it will even fill it for me. Right, Yankee 1 to Yankee. It just doesn't follow this line, but through Pusan. So that's the route. What's important to notice here is that we have some minimal crossing altitudes here, which does not really apply to us because that applies if we are continuing on Victor 200 and 591 west. And that means that we need to cross this VOR already at 12,500 feet. Just trying to find out to which airway that might actually apply because I see that all the other airways have already higher altitudes. So maybe that means when you are coming, for example, like us from Yankee here, that in order to turn west, we need to be already at 12,500 feet. Then we continue along Victor, for example, 421 at 14,000 feet. And before we arrive, the overall distance is 40 nautical miles between those VORs, so not that far. Before we arrive at this VOR, we should already be cleared for an approach. Otherwise, we would need to enter some holds or something. Now, let me try to come back. we were there. Yes, departure. Yeah, there are some radio calls again. Remember, before you commence the approach, you need to have the weather, and you need to have some approach assigned. If you can request the one you want, if they want to assign you something else. And don't forget to brief the approach before actually flying it. You can do that already on the ground before you depart, and then you can abbreviate the approach a little bit in the air, but just remember to have the look over before you fly it. And important, including the missed approach procedure. That's also important. And today it might actually come in handy. When to start the descent? Yeah, that's obviously calculated. For today, I believe that we actually won't start the descent before getting on the initial approach fixed, because we won't be flying any higher. And here are some radio calls that can help you in your endeavor to get what you want with the ATC. And some examples what might happen. There's one example at the actual approach. You can get an instruction like this: cross red table VOR at or above 14,000, cleared localizer DME echo approach. And you just read that back. The important thing here is if you are given an instruction that you should cross at or above, and let's say that you are currently flying at 16,000, then it's important when you start the descent. If you start that descent before crossing the red table VOR, you are required to tell the ATC that you are actually leaving 16,000 and descending to 14,000. However, if you already crossed red table VOR, then you are on the published approach, and the vertical profile is totally up to you, and you don't need to report that you are changing altitude. And now we come to the approach itself. Let me go to Aspen website here. And if you can see, we have three approaches. Visual, that's out of the question today. Localizer DME and RNF. I'll just briefly check the RNF, what are the minima on there. And if they have LPV minima, no. So you can see the only kind of minima is a circling one, and you can tell that it's gonna be like that because it doesn't have a runway number, because the final approach core is not aligned with the runway, so it will only have a circling minima. That doesn't mean that you cannot land straight in. You can very well do that, because circling is a maneuver that you do, any kind of maneuver that will get you on the runway, including a straight in approach. But the minima here is 10,200 feet, and that's 2,362 feet above ground. If you remember the weather, current weather, it even got worse. Like visibility got worse. It's 1.5 statute miles, but the clouds got a little higher. Overcast 2,300. So that's almost exactly what this approach calls for, right? 2,300. However, we flew the GPS approach last time, and I believe this time it's time for some localizer DME approach without the vertical guidance. Its minima is 2,000 feet. The problem is here that you need to have 3 statute miles of visibility, which we don't have at this point. So again, we would not be able to fly that approach in real life or clear for it. We can try our luck in the simulator to see what we'll get. Maybe the weather will clear or not. And if it doesn't, then it just means that we get to practice the missed approach procedure that also incorporates some back course here, localizer. So it should be fun. So what is this approach about? We start reading from the top, and we can see that the procedure is not available at night, and circling is not available for category C southwest of runway 1533. I believe that all of us are flying like aircraft either A or B, unless you are an airliner. So in that case, it just means that the circling is in a southwest of the airport, which is like here, so only like northwest or northeast circling allowed. Then we have a missed approach procedure. I will come to that a little bit later. We have some frequencies. So Aspen Tower, we have the main frequency there, and we have the approach course, and we have the airport elevation. We don't have a threshold, threshold elevation, because there is no dedicated runway to this approach. Another important thing is that dual VHF navigation receivers are required. You can supplement that with the GPS, obviously, if you have all those points there. I will fly the departure as a GPS aircraft, but then I will turn off the map because I want to give myself a challenge and not really see the map at all, and just try to use the VHF radio, and I'll see how that goes. So when we arrive at red table from here, we will continue on a course of 232 for 3.4 nautical miles, and we can descend to 13,400 feet. Then we intercept the localizer, turn left, and immediately we can start descending. You can see it here. Then we need to have, so what we need to have tuned in, obviously we need to have tuned in the localizer as a like a guidance to the airport. And we also, at this final approach course, we also need to have tuned in already this localizer, this back course one, in case we need to go missed. So I will leave that up to you how you work those radios. Just notice what is reference here. So we have the reference of DME from this IAC localizer, from the like landing one. Then we will also be able to get the DME from the, let's see, actually no, we won't be able to get that one. All right. So let me start from the beginning. So coming here, I would obviously have this frequency on the red table VOR tuned in into my radio. When I start nearing that and crossing that, I will just rotate the OBS to 232 and follow the course from that one. On my second radio, I will already have this another localizer, this 111.15 tuned in, so I can intercept that one. And obviously the course will be 151. In the standby on my first navigation radio, I will also have this localizer, so I can switch it to my primary one when I come near. On this portion, I need to follow the localizer from my first navigation radio and DME from that one as I fly that. Once I am here and descending, I need to switch my secondary radio to this frequency, 108.5, to be prepared for the back course, and I will turn also the OBS to 303. Here is the note that back course outbound is normal sensing, so I don't need to actually worry about the reverse sensing of the back course localizer. So that should be fine. When my needle deviates to the left, I know that I need to fly to the left and not the other way around. The vertical profile here lists the minimum altitudes that you should descend. It also lists the degree, like what is the slope that you need to maintain. So it's 6.59 degrees descent path, so it's rather steep. It's not the usual 3 degrees. We will come back to the table and we will see what that means for us. And I can always check on those points here. So 10.9 DME, I should be at least at 12,900 feet. At 9 DME, at least 12,300 feet, and so on and so forth. So it's important to keep that in mind and check for it. From the final approach fix here, I can descend all the way to 9,840. And then if I don't see the runway, at this point, which is 4 DME from the localizer, I need to execute the missed approach procedure. Do not fly any forward and any further. If you don't see the runway at 4 DME, you need to execute the missed approach procedure. And that is to climbing right turn to 14,000 on heading 300 and on the IPKN localizer northwest course 303 to Linz intersection, which is this one. And how do you know this intersection? Obviously, you are on this 303 course, and when you started this missed approach procedure and fly that, you can already switch the DME back to this red table VOR, because the DME is for DBL, which is the red table VOR. So when you are on this course and your DME from this VOR reads 12.6, then you are at this intersection. Additional way how to know this is to tune in the 109.2, which is another VOR and a radial of 196. Right, so two options how to identify this one. Or even you can use the radial 244 from the VOR, because that's the one that you will be flying forward as a part of another part of this missed approach procedure. Because when you reach Linz, you need to fly that radial 244 to Gleno intersection and hold. Right, so multiple ways how to identify that. So you would have this one on one radio, then you would again tune the DBL red table on the second radio, turn the OBS to 244, and when you reach Linz, you just turn left and follow here. It's quite a difficult procedure. We'll see how we manage. Now, what I wanted to say about the descent path. So, he said this VGSI angle 3.5, and then it says 6.5. And now I'm a little bit puzzled as which one that is. If anyone has any idea, let's see the table. I believe we have a table here. Climb descent in degrees and tenths. I believe that what's important for us is actually this 6.5 feet per nautical mile. Okay, so let's count it with the feet per nautical mile figure. I see that, for example, here I need to lose 600 feet in 1.9 nautical miles. So per 1 nautical mile, that would be 315 feet. Okay, that's quite normal, to be honest. Then we have another 600 feet. This is 500 feet. Okay, I guess that it's from the final approach fix that we need to descend quite a lot. Let's see. 11,700 minus 9,840. That's 1,860 feet that we need to lose in 3.1 nautical miles. Okay, so that's the one. 600 feet. 600 feet, yeah, that's about 5 point something. Okay, so that's actually the one. So first we have a 3.5. something in average when we descend here. And oh, not exactly. But from the final approach fix, so this is kind of a shallow descent, let's say 300 feet per nautical mile, and then we transition to 600 feet per nautical mile down below. And again, from this descent table, you can actually calculate according to your ground speed, which you will be able to read off your DME reading, how fast you need to descend on your feet per minute. So 600, let's say, let's use this one, 600. If your descent speed is like 90 knots, then it means that you need to descend 880, actually a little bit more, let's say 900 feet per minute in order to be able to get to the proper altitude in time to descend these 2,000 feet almost in just 3 miles. Well, I hope that I didn't confuse you too much. What's the current weather? We still have the same one, which is 15 minutes old. So the visibility is not really great. We'll see how that goes. We go mist if we need to. And yeah. Any questions?
Alternate, maybe. Which alternate to pick?
Yeah, alternate. That's true. We definitely need to pick an alternate. So I would have found out soonish. So let's see. Is that an Eagle County Airport? Let's see the forecast. So forecast is for scatter to 2,800, visibility is 6 statute miles or more. Temporary is 4 statute miles and overcast. Yeah, I believe that this one could be a good alternate.
I think Kilo, Romeo, India, Lima, Garfield County
Where
could
is it?
also be good. It's due west of Aspen. Yeah, the green dot.
That one?
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, that's maybe a little bit better, actually.
Mm.
You
It
can
also
definitely
has
have...
it also has an ILS that starts at red table.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
In that case, that's quite good. Just let's see where this one will take us to Gleno. If we need to go mist. Let's just see where the Gleno is, and it's actually here. So if we go mist, we actually end up there. And if I check this rifle Garfield, we have the ILS. Yeah, let's use that one. I believe that after a lot of fighting with the aircraft, the ILS might be actually a good one. Yeah, it starts at red table, but it's it's 15 miles to the Soki intersection. Let's see where the Soki is here. It's that one here. So I believe that in real, if we are holding there, we would probably be vectored on the ILS here, or we could fly back to this VOR and start from there. Although I believe that this approach will be actually NA, not available from arriving from here. Let's see, do we have any indication? No, I don't see any problem here, so maybe they don't care if you arrive from here and you need to make a really tight turn. Okay, yeah, so this is a good alternate. It has some alternate weather minima. So we would need to check on those as well. and that is here, alternate minima. Approach is rifle Garfield. Rifle Garfield. For ILS runway 26, we have a note number 1. ILS categories A, B, C, and D. The body minima is 1,300 ceiling and 4 statute miles of visibility, which this actually satisfies. Yeah, that's probably a little better alternate than Eagle County Regional. So I'll file this one. All right. I wish you happy flying. I hope you fly. Don't be afraid of messing up today because it's gonna be a difficult flight. And hopefully see you at Aspen or at our alternate.
See ya, happy flying.
Happy flying.
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 So first things first, I'll just connect to network and file my flight plan. So it's gonna be IFR, KGNB, KASE, alternate will be KRIL. Departure time, let's say 40. Time en route. I'll generate the new nav log. So let's see. How much fuel do we have? We have enough fuel. Yeah, I need to finish typing this one. So let's say 15 minutes, yes. That seems strange. So low, but I calculated it before and it really gave me this speed. We'll see how that goes. I will do alpha. Yes. And route. Speed 1. File. Okay. There does not appear to be any contemplating clearance. Please go flight first. Okay. So 5546. Alright, so let's get the party started. We'll start by a quick walk around. Alright, so that one, then we'll just lower the flaps a bit. And here we go. Of course, I would be checking hinges and everything. Fuel. Sump. Yep, good. Propeller, nothing there. Oil, okay, let's check the oil. 9 quarts. All right. Everything looks good. Okay, so let's get the aircraft started. First of all, we'll just pump some fuel to get the fuel pressure. Yeah, fuel pressure is rising, good. I want to change to right tank. Primer. Already 3 strokes today. Close the door. Now mixture a little bit less because we are quite high. We don't need full mixture. Actually, we don't want full mixture. Then beacon. And let's get started. So, area is clear. Let's see. Okay, finally it started. Okay, it doesn't sound that good. Turn on carb heat, even here on the ground. Oil pressure is good. Amps are in a plus. So we'll give it a moment. Try it to stabilize. For some reason the prop was not forward, even my physical one was forward. So that's the reason. Yeah, now it sounds much better. Okay, avionics go on. Nav lights. So, I don't want to use the GPS afterwards, but I will need to use that for the departure in order to safely navigate that departure, obstacle departure procedure. Which we have here. So for that purpose I will need to at least set the basic flight plan, and actually I will enter it all because why not, right? Since we already have it, I'll just do that and at least have it there if it doesn't go according to my plan, so I can have some backup. Track. No. Load airway. That is the one. Airway Victor 421. All the way to. Not this one. DBL. Load. And that's it. And let's see if we have the departure procedure here. Oh, we do. Okay, let's load departure. Let's verify. 8777 on the runway heading, which should be 274. I'm pointing almost directly north. Just slightly to the east, like so. Very good. No, I won't be filling. And now what I need to prepare frequency wise. So obviously this is all GPS, and then I need to Kremlin. Is it Kremlin? Yeah, Kremlin. So that one will actually be on nav1, and that's 113.8. Then the next one that I want to have on an F1 is ready table, which is 113.0. Now, on my second navigation radio, I will need that localizer one, which is 111.85. And I will have there, which one? I also need the back gores there, which will be 108.5, 108.5. Like so. Yeah, and DME knots. Yeah, I will need to be ready to change that one. Unicom 122.8. Alright. And obviously altimeter. Something like this. Alright, so is everyone gone already? Almost. So the latest weather with the 70811, 10 miles, -7, 2967.
Needs
to take off from interesting.
9,400 climbing 14,000, departing west final call, Granby County.
Granby-Grand County traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Papa Charlie, Piper Comanche on the apron, taxiing to runway 27, Granby County.
Traffic, Comanche 6529 Lima, departing road 27 straight in Granby.
traffic time ending 7 Victor Delta, 2,000 feet, proceeding to the west, west Granby.
Magnetos 125 left, very good. Right, laps 1, let's go. Granby County traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Papa Charlie, Piper Comanche, lining up runway 27 and taking off, straight of departure, Granby. Landing lights, strobe lights, fuel pump, pitot heat, all is on.
Airport, number 75600 is the type Cessna 172, taxi to runway 27, Granby County.
All right. So, start the timer, switch to the map, and off we go. Actually want to maintain this airspeed. Flaps. So going to 8,700. We are there, so we can go direct Uzen. Switch the needle. Granby-Grand County traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Papa Charlie, heading west at 9,800 feet. Final call, Granby.
Granby County, number 75600, lining up and taking off runway 27. Granby County.
Now at 10,400 feet, so now I need to maintain the standard climb of 200 feet per nautical mile, which should not be difficult. Lean a little bit, find the maximum horsepower. You can even lower to 2,400 RPM. I'll switch the needle to VLOG actually. So since I'm at VFR, I know that I should be able to, you know, fly to that VOR directly without actually bothering. But that's not what I want to do. The VOR is at that direction. Let's try to fly this departure procedure. Landing lights can go off, fuel pump as well. We have 3,000 feet more to go. The heater, that's defroster, cabin heat is on max, good. So I actually want to tune in the viewer frequency also in here, so I have some DME. more power? No. Feet more. Doesn't want to climb anymore. Which is quite normal. So nice and stable right now. Do that hold frequency. Oh, frequency hold. Ah, Divert, of course. Okay, what does it mean? Maybe if I now switch this one. Turning. This frequency hold doesn't do really. I will need to investigate how that works, but not while being in flight. Okay, so 14,000 feet. Try to get back on track. And since I'm already at 14,000, I want to bring my power to around 50%. I'm debating if I should just go straight to the VOR from Puzen. Probably do so. So I'm already at 14,000 feet. And let's say that I have the vector from ATC. But let's first arrive at Puzen. Sigma Icharo, because we have real smooth flight. Try to switch off the map. Actually, we need to arrive to Puzen first. Break in the weather. And we are at Puzen at 1620. Oh, that's like 3. Just 5 nautical miles from that. I reset. I reset that one again. Oh my god. Doesn't feel like winter storm. Let me just quickly check if they didn't change anything here.
Unfortunately, I couldn't climb out of the mountains. So I'm going to have to figure out whether to restart or what.
I think you can just restart and try again.
Yeah. I mean, I just have to figure it out because I'm doing it after 12 weeks. So I'm a rusty pilot at this point in time.
Well, were you at VY at maximum climb?
Yes, yes. Although I think I've also forgotten a little bit of the theory. Yeah. So.
Well, at least for the first few hundred feet, I guess you need to be at VX. So steepest climb on shortest distance.
Right, right. So I almost was to the top, but then I it stalled and crashed, and I just couldn't get past. So I can restart, but it might be a little bit too late because I have a meeting at 4:30. But we'll see. I'll watch Thomas for now, maybe.
4:30 in the morning.
No, 4:30. It's 4 p.m. in the afternoon, so I have a meeting at 4:30. So
Okay.
I will probably fly this in the evening or tomorrow. But I'm going to watch Thomas right now on his split site.
Makes sense.
I need to turn that to 198, which it actually was at. It's very sensitive now. Set. Let's try to get back on course. So next one will be the 40, which is 10. Is it 10 nautical miles? 40? Yeah. So from this one to 40 it should take me 5 minutes. And it's when this reaches 10 nautical miles. I'm consuming from right, so I'll leave it on right a little bit more and then I'll switch to left. To find the correct wind correction angle. To the soup we go. Really not bumpy at all. I would have expected worse. That's not enough correction angle, so let's increase it by 2 degrees or so. 2 more miles until 40. And I won't be bringing the chart over to the screen because I need to see. So 5.1. Now we have 2 minutes to Kimball. That should be 14. Yeah, that's 14 miles. .14, 2 minutes. Now river is at 20 miles, and that's also the point when I need to switch to the next VOR, which will be red table at 113.0. So I'll also configure the frequency here because I want to have a DME for it. And actually I can switch the DME already. Let's identify that one. Oh, I cannot do that like this. Do this like this. I don't hear anything. This is not working. I hear this one. I cannot hear nav2 at all, and it reads. Only when that reads 20, I need to switch. 2:20 and 3 minutes. I need to switch and tune in the 0 to 0 like this, and we continue flying. So very soon we're gonna do that approach. Cannot really verbally brief it like here, but at the red table we will make right turn on course 232 and then intercept the localizer, which I'll already prepare to the second radio. Should be 111.5, 111.15. For now, let's keep it like this.
36 Foxtrot going east, Aspen.
And the weather at Aspen right now. Yeah, very low visibility. Will probably go mist as well. Well, next point is Violet. That should be 16 miles. And then we have the DBL, so red table. Yeah, weather's not looking good.
Was the traffic? November 87 Victor Delta time on gauge 62 on the localizer runway 15 west. Down 815 west.
Just note that there is no localizer 15. It doesn't have any runway dedicated to that approach. So I'll be staying at 14,000 until I cross that one. And then I need to turn right to 232. Let's turn on the carb heat. Actually want to slow down.
Ended up being way too high.
So at Aspen we have altimeter 2969er, so I'll just change it.
What's the traffic? November 18 meter delta going around.
Aspen traffic, Comanche 6529 Lima, the light DME. Aspen.
So it seems that so far everybody went around or went missed because they couldn't see the runway. We'll see how we'll fare. I don't see a thing. Oh, there is something. The ground.
Aspen traffic, Comanche 6529 Lima, going missed. Aspen.
I think we'll go missed as well. Let's switch those tanks.
Aspen area traffic, calling 36 Foxtrot, about 10 miles northwest of the field, coming around for another try on the KASE for runway 15, Aspen traffic. I didn't fly all the way to the hold, it's way too long.
Let's bring the landing gear down. Aspen traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Papa Charlie, Piper Comanche on localized approach about 11 miles north of the airport, inbound to land. Snatch of flaps.
Aspen traffic, code 36 Foxtrot. Once again on a 9-mile final, runway 15 to land. Aspen.
Jesus. I went below. Oh, I see the runway. Just the lights though. Okay, I lost the runway again, I believe that. But I see the ground. I believe it's time to go around. So, turn to 300. Gear up, flaps up. And then I need 105, 303. Aspen traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Papa Charlie, going missed, and I will be following that back course and missed procedure. Aspen.
Aspen traffic, coding 26 Foxtrot, going east, Aspen.
7 traffic. Remember, it's into Delta 8105. Aspen.
Oh. That was a stall. Burning. To get on that back course. Still not there. But anyway, 244 radio. It says that the 244 radio is way back, so let's try to get to it.
Striker 18. Striker 18, Aspen traffic, departing Aspen, you're just a couple minutes, taxi active, and departing Aspen, 2 minutes, Striker 12.
It's definitely not normal sensing. Okay, so I was misled. It's actually backward sensing.
Aspen traffic, November 87, Victor Delta, short flight, runway 15, Aspen.
Aspen traffic.
Okay, I have dialed this completely the wrong way. It was on the radial, and of course I wanted to tune in 244. Yeah, this flying really takes its toll.
Striker 1-2, clear the active at Aspen. Aspen traffic clear.
So where is this 244 radio? Trying to get to it and I'm not able to.
Aspen traffic, contact 36 Foxtrot, 10 miles south of Red Table, direct Red Table at 14,000 feet. Aspen.
I'm getting closer. Oh, I probably have the fin frequency here. No, I have the same one. How come I'm getting closer if I'm going from the VOR? Try to stabilize, and then I will need to find out where the hell I am. Because this doesn't make any sense to me. Just rotate this to find out. Really? So on 030.
Striker 18 November 6529 Lima. You've been intercepted.
Who is that clown?
Yeah. I don't know.
It's not one of us, is he?
No, I don't think so.
Well, I got...
Traffic calling 26 Foxtrot at red table 14,000 feet, departing the area to the west, final call, Aspen traffic.
Well, I believe I got officially lost.
I'm diverting. It's no use.
Yeah.
I can't land this.
Yeah, I would like to as well, but on my Mr. First procedure, I believe I flew it completely wrongly, and I, for the life of me, can get on the, like, where I should be.
Do it. Use the dark side.
No.
First on the threshold.
My radios just don't make sense to me.
I'm up here in the holding pattern. I think I'm going to head over to rifle. And give that a shot.
I think I came close on the second try, but then I retracted the flaps instead of extending them. I was too high again. The weather's getting worse, way gustier.
I will be diverting, that's for sure.
Yeah, me too.
Alright, so hopefully I'm now at the correct location. So, what does that give me? Let's finish that Mr. First procedure. Because that was a mess. What I did. And it doesn't make any sense to me what I was actually flying, that it took so long, so I don't even know if I'm at the correct position or not. But at least I can see something now. So R244 to Gleno, that's DME 22.7. Let's check the frequency. Frequency 113.0, yes. So that's like 10 more nautical miles. Then I'll do at least one holding pattern. Maybe I will be diverting already. Let's say that I was talking to ATC and asking them to divert, and they managed to the ILS approach. So let's try to get that ILS frequency in the second radio, 113.35. I lost the DME, but yeah, the final course is 258. Shouldn't make any change, right? So I get that, but I have to change back to the holding pattern one. I can see some colleague there. I will do at least one circle in the holding pattern. Let's see if I can actually use that one for a change. Inbound course is 060, so I'll turn it to inbound. Actually 064, like so. We'll do in parallel entry, or actually teardrop is better.
Striker 18 on the ground at Aspen. Aspen traffic, Striker 18, parting.
Try to find out.
Sounds like he's flying some kind of fighter jet.
Yeah.
Guilty.
almost at the holding point to 2.7. Then I'll just diverge 30 degrees to the right, fly that for 1 minute. So 30 degrees, turn.
Rifle traffic, Comanche 6529 Lima is on the ILS 26 for the rifle.
Rifle traffic, November 26 Foxtrot, Delta Cardiac, also on the ILS 26, DME reads 17.6. 10,900 feet. Rifle.
Okay, so let's turn back. Let's try to make it a standard turn.
Rifle traffic, Comanche 6529 Lima, making a left 360 for space rifle.
Letting me go first.
Yeah, looks like you're ahead of me, so looks like I'll be number 2.
So now we're entering the holding pattern.
Should have just converged on one point and see who breaks away first.
Okay, that is the timer. Measure when it goes. It's bigger. Wind correction. To 2.7, turning 36 seconds it took. So standard rate turn and then triple the wind correction angle. It's about this one. Start. I believe since the wind is coming from the front, I should do like 1.5 minutes. I'll try that.
Striker 18 November 6529 Lima direct. Coming up on your right wing here in a couple seconds.
Copy that. I'll be looking for you.
Under November 659er Lima.
So a little bit further.
Rifle traffic, Comanche 29 Lima on the ILS 26 at 16.
Okay. Let's see what that brings us in. Try to make the turn and come back around.
Rifle traffic, Kodak 36 Foxtrot, 10 mile, final runway 26 on the ILS. Airspeed reads 110 knots indicated. Rifle traffic.
Niner Lima, what's your airspeed?
Showing 120 miles an hour.
Okay, so we got a little bit further than I wanted.
Yeah, there's no way I can get that bird down this slow, boss.
Already at 22.7.
You're still in
and
that
just
Challenger,
40,
right?
just 40 seconds. Okay, I think that we'll just go and try to join that ILS into rifle. So let's play vectoring game.
Oh, it's way better weather.
Let's play the vectoring way. So localizer is 110.9er actually. Transfer. Yep. And let's see, the 11335 is the DME. But the localizer should have a DME as well, so let's just put that one in. Yeah, 22.3. Okay, so we'll just go and play vectoring game. I'll descend to 12,600. Let's get the weather.
Rifle traffic, Kodak 36 Foxtrot, 5 mile final on the ILS runway 26. Airspeed indicates 120 knots. Rifle traffic.
So we have 31011.
Rifle
Nice.
traffic, Comanche 6529 Lima on the ILS 26 11 DME, airspeed 105 knots. Rifle.
can get faster. Join the final approach course. Which...
Yeah, 9 Lima, that was hard to get down to even that speed, man. I can't get any lower than that.
What's this guy even on about? I don't get it.
She's wanting to drag to the ground at 160. I can't get it slower than 162 without it nosediving.
Rifle traffic, code 36 Foxtrot, shot final, runway 26, full stop landing, rifle.
Traffic November 87, Victor Delta, on localizer for runway 26, 20 miles DME.
Traffic, code 26 Foxtrot, runway 26, located at Alpha 4, taxi to Southland. Rifle traffic.
Striker 18, field secure.
So, joining the localizer. Rifle traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Papa Charlie Piper Comanche on the 20 miles final for runway 26. Rifle.
Rifle traffic, Comanche 6529 Lima on a 3.5 mile final of runway 26 rifle.
So, landing lines can go on. Now I am 8, I can go to 11,100. The altimeter settings at rifle is 2980. Like 1,000 feet too high, so let's descend. Bring the prop forward, will help us descend. By 14 DME I need to be at 10,400, so let's actually bring the gear down. Yeah, and I overshot the localizer.
Rifle traffic, November 8 Victor Delta, 10 mile final. Rifle.
Now gear up. And 10,400. And intercept the glide slope.
Hi, 9 Lima, are you full stop?
Affirm, full stop.
Roger.
And rifle traffic, Comanche 29 Lima is clear of the runway. Rifle.
I'm just gonna descend right now. Landing gear down then. Minima 6,800 feet.
Rifle traffic, November 87 Victor Delta, short final 26, rifle.
Rifle traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Papa Charlie, 9 mile, final runway 26, rifle.
November 65 Whiskey Papa holding short of 26 at Alpha 5.
What airport are you guys diverting to?
To Rifle County. That's Kilo India Romeo Lima.
Okay, thank you.
November 65 Whiskey Papa, lining up 25 for departure, and make straight out. Try to make out before you get out. Get in here. That short final traffic.
November 18 Victor Delta, running 26 vacated.
Obviously landing, because we see the runway quite nicely. A little bit high as far as ILS goes, but it doesn't really matter here. So I guess we have quite heavy wind from the side, and I need to slow this aircraft down. gonna be landing with flaps 1 selected. Okay, so left foot. This full left foot. Oh.
If you guys want to join me, I'm going to Grand Junction Regional. It's the next airport down, about 100 miles, 115 miles.
Rifle traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Papa Charlie, runway 26 vacated, taxiing to parking, rifle.
I'm gonna go pick up a Learjet at Grand Junction, and then I don't know where we're gonna go. We're gonna go to Arizona, maybe. We'll figure it out.
Last station calling, you know, this is not a chit chat. There is a MSFS multiplier for that. So let's just shut it down. Well, that was something. Yeah, so if I look here, how that should have looked like. It should have been a right turn to join this back course of 303, and it says that it's outbound is normal sensing, right? But I had it dialed in properly, probably, on my second navigation radio, and by doing that, I was actually, you know, coming. I needed to join that localizer course. Where is it? This is this one, you know, here. And I kind of wanted to correct myself, and then I thought that I did, and probably I did, as I see there. But then I dialed an incorrect setting on this VOR, like I dialed 064 instead of 244, and then started to turn right, then try to correct it, and this took forever to get here. And I thought that I have surely, I surely did something wrong, because this is not, or at least it doesn't look like correct, or it didn't look like from the air, but now that I see that, it probably wasn't that bad. But from this, you know. So if I insert the procedure here, approach localizer E, initial fixed transition DBL. Okay, the missed approach procedure is completely wrong here though. Okay, so this is like the, that's strange. This one has a wrong procedure. But let's say that this one is like a correct procedure, so actually it wasn't that bad.
Yep, looks close enough.
Yeah, but from here I like, because I thought that I was completely elsewhere, so I tuned out this localizer, and then I was just trying to get on this radial. So that was my mistake, you know, I should have stayed on the localizer and fly here.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, what didn't make sense though was because if you see this plate, it says that it should be a DBL 12.6 DME, so from this VOR. And when I was here and I was getting closer, I thought that surely I must be on in a wrong place, but as I see it now, it's quite logical that we would get closer and then would get farther from this VOR. So that was like my mistake. I didn't know how it lies in relation to each other. So I allowed myself to be completely confused, which is not good.
Well, a good adventure at least.
Yes. The whole procedure entry was quite good, but then this is this is funny. I somehow misjudged the winds completely, so it was a wrong pattern. Yeah, I know what I did wrong. I did the wing correction to the wrong side, I guess. Well, and then the ILS was kind of wavy. Yeah, well, it was an adventure, definitely, and the longer flight by far. As of now. Thank you very much for sticking around. This is quite a long video. I understand that. I hope you liked it, even in the face of me doubting myself, and not everything was exactly like it should. But yeah, it was tough. It was a tough flight, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.